as a former retail executive, what I can tell you is that all of us have become incredibly dependent on promotions in order to engage existing customers and also acquire new ones. And what we're finding is that this is kind of a little bit of a race to the bottom, right? We're eroding margin, we're degrading brand, and retailers are really looking to find a path out. And so today we're going to welcome up Debjani, the CEO of Session AI, who's going to talk about ways to leverage behavioral AI in order to help brands get out of that promotions dependency. So Deb, please come up.
Thank you, Jenna. Hello, hello. Right when the afternoon sleep hits, we are going to talk about the exciting topic of promotion. Suruchi, please come up here with me, please. All right. So I'm Debjani, CEO and co-founder of Session AI. And we help companies, essentially brands and retailers, disrupt their promotional strategy using AI as the centerpiece. So we're going to talk about how you can become more intelligent with promotions, how you can do less of them, how you can only give it to the folks that need it, and most importantly, get away from lots of promotions everywhere all the time. So that's the topic. And the last speaker here talked about that all of us need an AI strategy. This is one tactical one that we will lay out for you to consider. With that, I want to introduce my dear client, Suruchi. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us and talk about how Minted has tackled this topic. So take a few minutes, if you would, Suruchi, just introducing yourself and Minted.
Well, thank you so much for having me here, Debjani. Hi, guys. I'm Suruchi. I run marketing at Minted. And for those of you who don't know us, we are a premium stationery and home decor brand. A lot of you use us for wedding invitations and holiday cards and artwork and beautiful paintings and things like that for your home. We work with a lot of artists around the globe who design just for us, so that's kind of our IP. And if you haven't seen us yet, come check us out at minted.com.
Very exciting and beautiful brand, so do absolutely check it out. So Suruchi, let's start with our journey together. Where did it start? Tell us a little bit about how we got started.
Yeah, and Debjani tells people that we met last year, but actually our journey started a long time before that. It was when I was running marketing for tailored brands.
Yes.
And at that time, Session AI used to be called Zine One.
Yes.
And we brought you guys in, and people were not really talking about AI yet.
Yes.
And so targeted promotions, we were just scratching the surface there. So that's how I got introduced to you. And then last year, our paths crossed,
yes.
And we started chatting again.
Yes, TBI is a long-time customer of ours, really early, 5 years ago, down the path of how do you use AI to target promotions. But today we're going to talk about Minted. So talk to me about your and Minted's journey towards this.
Yeah, so when, we at Minted take a lot of pride in the product that we produce. It's premium, it's elevated, it's unique, and it's very different from a lot of what other stationery providers provide. And as a result, we don't like to put our products on promotion. So we don't really run very deep or frequent promotions. But with that said, even our high-income buyer cannot resist the want of a deal, right? And all of us are deal seekers. And so anytime we do find ourselves running these promotions, we see a business growth, a revenue growth. So it's always a balance that we have to keep finding of maintaining our premiumness and elevation of the brand, and yet having those levers that do drive the business forward. And so that's kind of what was going on in my mind when you and I met. When we think about our holiday business, it's a heavy return customer business. Like, people who've used us for holiday cards, hopefully a lot of you have, come back to us year after year. And so there's always a thinking of, are we over giving promotions out to a customer who may not be as sensitive to needing a promotion. So,
actually, I'll ask a question of the audience here. How many of you think you are too promotional and you want to do less promotions? I see a few hands up here. How many of you guide your promotional strategy today from an Excel spreadsheet that tells you what promotions to do at what time of the year? I see Jenna nodding her head vigorously here. That's exactly the point that we get a lot of vigorous head nodding in regards to how promotions are done today and where we could go. So talk to me, Suruchi, about what were your goals in regards to this endeavor?
Yeah, I mean, as you can kind of see here, that this is exactly what I was trying to figure out. How do I increase my conversions? How do I find a lever? Promotion is a lever, but without making the brand always feel like it's on a promotion. Without running these evergreen promotions, finding a way to increase conversions, and finding ways to improve my margin. What does that mean? We give away a lot of promo dollars. I'm not sure how many of you have calculated how many promo dollars, but in Q4, it runs to the tune of multi-million dollars for us. And so any saving that we can do in our promo dollars is a direct hit to the bottom line. And so improving margins comes from saving anything on the promo dollars. And while we do both of those things, with the ultimate goal of becoming less promotional. So you're driving your revenue, you're growing your bottom line, and you're showing up as a brand that does not look promotional. We're the three-pronged challenge, if you will, that we're trying to solve here.
Yeah, it's interesting. So talk to me a little bit about how do you get started in a journey like this? This is not, from my understanding of all of you, it's a very complex setting, multiple stakeholders, multiple points of view, multiple strategies in place in regards to how promos are done. So how do you get started?
And you forgot multiple lines of businesses
Multiple
different audiences that we're serving. Some wanting to make a purchase immediately, some wanting to make a purchase over a period of time.
Yes.
So there's, a lot of different nuances. And like a lot of people here, we do have a spreadsheet, which is a promotional calendar. That's, it's maintained and everybody sits and meets on a weekly basis to do this. So when you and I met last year and you started to talk to me about, there's a better way of doing this. I want to say it was kind of June, July last year when we met. And that was a time when multiple things were going in my head. It's June, July, and Q4 is right around the corner. So anytime we think about bringing in new technology, new vendor, it's almost impossible, right, to get engineering roadmap space available to us. But then the other thing you were telling us was you can figure out from a user's 5 clicks on the site what's their propensity to buy. And while that's Session AI's IP, it's a little hard to believe. Right? How can every customer that comes to the site, within first 5 clicks, I can figure out if you're going to come purchase with me or not, or you're double-minded and want to get a little more of an incentive to close the deal. So lots of things were going in my head, and I did communicate that to you to say, I'm not sure this is the right time for us to get started on this journey. So then, I want to say it was almost September, October by that time, that you came to me with a brilliant idea of what if we do this only as a back-end exercise? If we only enabled the data aspect of Session AI, especially during my holiday quarter, which for Minted is probably the biggest sales time ever. And so that's what we did. We brought you guys in purely to collect data. And that data was for us and my stakeholders and powers to be to feel comfortable that there is enough of that propensity underlying model there that can help us get to the promo dollar savings that we're looking to do. So before we went and implemented all of the front-end customer-facing promo changes, could the data actually even inform that? So that's kind of what we did last year, late last year with you. And then this year, we started to figure out which business line would make sense, what sort of offer would we have to do. That's actually much harder than I thought it would be. because our wedding customer is very different and may not actually want to convert within a session. So we decided to experiment with our graduation season. Our graduation season is about 6 to 8 weeks long. We're just coming out of it. And that's a customer who probably is ready to make a decision quicker than a wedding customer. But then we started figuring out what should the UX be. Now remember Minted wanting to maintain our premium elevation of the brand. We didn't want to have a pop-up show up. So a lot of back and forth between our UX teams, and we finally landed on an experience that we've all agreed on. And 6 to 8 weeks, I want to say about 6-ish weeks later, we saw some really interesting results. So within just a 6-week period, we saw 13.5%, 13.6 to be accurate, average conversion lift in our graduation lift. So what did we do here? We did not do promo depth reduction. So typically in a graduation season, we run about a 15-ish% discount. It varies, of course, different parts of the season, but roughly 15%. And with Session AI, we added a targeted promotion of a 20% on top. So anybody who we really determined based on your algos to be on the fence and wanting that just an additional push to convert with us, we gave them a 20% discount. So this is now a conversion.
And it's interesting, Suruchi mentioned that she started this exercise just using the data from the back end. Across the board, for the retailers and brands that we work for, that's the exercise that really sort of solidifies the idea that we are giving away too many promotional dollars to the highly likely to buy. Would you believe it if I said to you that on the average, about 75% of your total pie of promotional dollars is going to the highly likely to buy? And I see Carolyn here in the audience, my dear client from TBI, and that really sort of says something, that I am giving away these promo dollars to somebody who would have bought anyway. Can I pull back on that 75% and push that promotional dollar towards the folks that actually need it? And that really is the shift that we are trying to drive towards. So what's sort of the overall goal for this? What's your goal for the year in regards to promo reduction, margin enhancement, so on and so forth?
So Minted is on a journey of both a revenue growth and an EBITDA growth this year. And so talking to what you were just saying, when we think about our holiday customer, again, 85% of our customer that comes back to us is a returning customer. And a lot of them are coming every year and are not as promo sensitive as we think they are. So when we looked at the data, it did look like we were giving away quite a bit of promo dollars to people who would convert with us even if the promos were slightly lower. And that's what we're trying to do here. So we're trying to get to not a 75% reduction, but a 7.5% reduction in our promotional spend. And anything that I save in promo dollars is an immediate dollar added to my EBITDA at the time. So that's what our goal is. And we're trying to get to this by the time our holiday quarter ends, which is really by end of December that we need to get here.
So talk to me about the levers that this will give you. Like in your perfect world during the holiday, what are the levers that will be available to you?
Yeah. I was actually telling Debjani right before this that we were doing this exercise yesterday of trying to figure out our holiday promos in a spreadsheet with weeks laid out with exactly what offers would be. But it started to dawn on us that we actually do have two levers at our disposal now. You know, if we wanted to pull some demand ahead, or we are running short on revenue dollars, we could actually do the conversion lift that I just showed you in grad. While in certain situations where our return customers coming hot and heavy, that's when we can go down and reduce our promo dollars. So I think we do have both of those levers available to us. And not just time of the quarter, but also the type of customer, right? It's a new customer may be more promo sensitive than a return customer. So it starts to give us quite a bit of those levers to play with. And the hope is, next year when we meet here, I might actually tell you we found 7.5 or 8% saving. So, but, time will tell. But that's kind of the hope, that we do enter this holiday quarter with a lot more levers in our hand.
And in that thought process around the spreadsheet that guides our promo strategy today, one of the things that just philosophically that I have arrived at as I have worked with a lot of you is, we have such significant sophistication in our algorithms in the acquisition bucket. It's Google, it's Meta, it's all those platforms. You put $1 in, you know exactly what you're going to get out. On the other side, when you're retargeting, you again have sophisticated technologies that allow you to say, I'm going to do this and this is the return I would get. But when the customer actually lands on the site, we put up site-wide promos. We do one for all. I am highly price sensitive. I need more. Suruchi needs less.
That's not true.
Yeah. But that sensitivity of context, of behavior, of the ability to direct that promo with the same algorithmic approach that the Googles and the Metas are doing on the acquisition funnel does not exist today, and it is ripe for disruption. And that's what sort of we are going towards. Absolutely. So on that note, let's talk about the future, where we are and where we are going.
I'm going to say that while I'm very excited about what we're doing with Session AI, I think we're just starting to scratch the surface. While this allows us to give targeted promotions, it's still very segment-based targeted promotions. We're still not giving Debjani the deeper discount, me the lower discount, as was just established, because our buying behaviors and our motivations might be completely different. She might like a 20% discount. I might like a $20 discount. And so we are still not actually even customizing that. Now, that's one side of it. There's also almost like an overload of promos that a customer gets. So there is the site-based promotions. There are promotions I'm sending you through emails, through abandoned emails, through social media, through affiliate. So as an end customer, I'm now sitting on maybe 10 different promos from Minted, and which one's the right one for me to go use. So I haven't actually done my job of really customizing a promotion for you just by giving you a targeted promotion on the site. So I do think that there's smarts that are needed in the world of promos, something that puts our customer in the center and then decides what's the best thing to offer to them, and not just bombard them with every channel coming up with a different promotion. So I'm hoping that's the future we are moving towards.
Absolutely. And I think in this sort of notion of the agentic future, right, we have to do two things. One, as you said, do right by our consumer, right? The trust that we build, the brand affiliation we have with the consumer by not bombarding them and really understanding their context and the value, and therefore. The other thing is we have to do right by you, right? We visualize an agentic future where you come in and you say, it's my holiday season, and for my wedding category or my a different category, grad category, whatever the case may be, I want to get this much in revenue with these margin guardrails and with observability of knowing how you're deploying it. And the agent should be able to deploy those promotions one-to-one. Mm-hmm. You get less, I get more. And it changes by context. On a different day, it could be the opposite. But do you really have to sit in front of an Excel spreadsheet and deploy and say, Labor Day is coming up and it should be 25%? Or could you just say, hey, these are my goals and these are my guardrails, these are my observability requirements, you go do it.
Yeah, that sounds very exciting. Hopefully that's coming soon, yeah.
So what are the takeaways? The 3 takeaways of where we are and where we are going?
For me, I think the first one's clear. Spreadsheets cannot scale. We've all lived with spreadsheets for, I want to say, 20, 30, 40 years and done this in promos, but it's not effective. It's not scalable. We are also giving away too many promotions. We heard it probably even as high as 75%, but we definitely are giving away too much. And as Debjani promises, there is a future for this where our AI agents can actually make this all seamless, easy, and in a margin positive way for all of us.
Yeah. And I don't think it's a very far off vision. This is, next 6 to 8 months, we should see the beginnings of this being implemented within the industry, where an agent is really empowered to do this with a great deal of intelligence. And we would love to talk to you all about it. We are at booth 209. Suruchi, thank you so very much for doing this with us. I appreciate your time, and hopefully this was useful.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.